This is lecture 7, the fifth part of it, and in it I'm going to solve a quiz number 3 that we have in the class. It's basically the first class in my 4 classes, and for you guys out of Ajman University, it might be a good exercise for you to have a look at. So what we are going to do today is this is a very simple plan that we have. And by having a quick look at this document, it is really and clearly having both grid system, and there is a column in it, so we have to be aware of this type of documents. So first there is a grid, as you can see, so we have to start up with it, and then there is columns which we have to add. Again, that's the column, and the thickness of the column obviously is the same thickness of the wall, which is a 300 mil. So that's good. We can actually act as if they are not existed, and then we add them later. It depends on what actually you want to get, what it's actually going to do with the document later on. So let's just start first. It's a good idea to analyze the document before you start. So it's a big number, so it's millimeters. It's a grid base, and again it's a column base, and the column is actually the same width as the wall. So you can just ignore them and add them later on to the document. Anyway, let's start. So I will start up by fixing the units, and the units are basically millimeters, so already been done. And you have to create a layer, and I'm gonna create layer for grids or axis, whatever you want to call it, and I'm gonna change the color to kind of a dark red. Probably line type need to be loaded as this one dash dot, and selecting it again. Thickness, sorry, line weight, something very light, maybe this guy. And I'll have to make it current, closing this guy, and go back to the document itself, and I'm going to start up with the vertical one. So it's around 2000 by 11, so it's 13, let's say 14,000, and then 7,000, so it's around like a 21 or something. So let's go ahead and assume that it's 30 meter. So I'll have a line here, and I go vertically, so I need F8, and I need a 30 meter, so it will be a 30,000 in this. So if you don't see the end of the line, just double click on the scroll or zoom extend, and that's your first line. And in this case, we need to go to LTS and then change the line type scale to something big enough so we can see. Probably 100 is good. Now if I go back again, try to find the dimension for the axis or the grid. I'm not finding them above, so it's down to 3,000, 350, and 750. So I'll offset 3,000 first, and then 3,500, and then 7,500. Okay, so again it's 3,000, 3,500, and 7,000. Great, so far so good. And I'm gonna have another horizontal line, let's say somewhere here. It's randomly, you don't need to go really exactly where it is. And then from top 250, and then some crazy number, 10,950. I don't know why is that. And then 705, oops, then 7,050. Okay, now I'm gonna move that up a little bit like that. So that's what we have, as you can see here. Now before you go ahead and draw the walls, it would be seriously important to consider having checking those grid. Maybe you did some mistake, and it will be really smart to fix those mistakes while they are just lines. After, you're gonna have like dimension walls and doors and openings and all that annoying issue to be overcome. So from now, create a new layer and name it dimension, maybe you call it exterior dimension, I don't know, if you want to go more detailing, and give it a color, and let's go ahead and have it a continuous, and I'll keep it as 09 as a very thin layer. Make it current, of course, and then jump in here and give it the dimension that you should have. I know I can see it, so DCO, let me finish this and then come to the dimension style, and then escape. Now you go D-space, and in the modify you can go to fit, and then make this also 100 or something. So now we see the dimension clearly. Probably jump them a little bit down. So see, it's a 3,000, 3,500 and 750. So let's see, is that correct? 3,000, 350, 750. That you must do before you go ahead and add more detail and complication to the grid, or make your life much harder to fix those mistakes. So now double check your work is okay while it's just lines, and that's a 2,500 again, 2,500, 10,950, 10,000, that's okay, and finally here 7,050, right? Yep, 7,050. Perfect. Now that's been done and that's been said. Now the correct thing to be done is to go ahead, as long as there is columns, you must start up doing those columns. That's a really nice and important thing to consider. Although only in this case, the thickness of the column is the same as the thickness of the wall. So you can start up by drawing the wall and then add the column. But again, as I promised my student, as long as there is column, we have to start with them. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll go to layers again, and probably a new layer, and I'll call them column, and activate that, changing the layer color to something like cyan here, continuous, and probably this guy, make it very thick like this one. Hit OK and then close it. Now probably I'll just have a rectangle and just a 300 by a 300, and I'll just move that from the center, which I can't find anyway. So mid between 2 points. Oh wait. So first move, space, right click, mid between 2 points. I'll have those two, and that's my center. Anyway, place it here. Probably I'll just copy it to all, like such, and then copy the row entirely down. And then we're going to delete things that we technically don't need. So again, we have on one A and B, nothing on A and B. Good, so nothing on A and B here on the first one. And then we have 2 here, 3 here. Okay, and then actually 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then down. We're gonna have nothing here, which is that kind of crazy. Yes, it is, and that's it. And even here, that's even more crazier. Anyway, that isn't correct structurally, I think, but it can be correct if the beam goes here. But anyway, let's forget this. Let's draw it as it is, and that's my columns. Great. So now we have to go ahead and draw the walls. So where are we? Probably, yeah, I'll go with the walls. So layer, new, and then walls, current, and probably red, and the thickness is less than the columns one, so maybe 0.3 is enough. And I don't know, red, and the grid red is gonna be ugly, so maybe green, less uglier. So let's have a look. So we're gonna offset those walls, the outside walls, and they are, as I said, 300 mil. So again, offset 150 to the right, and then 150 to the left, and same thing here, same thing here. And there is one here, so there is, okay, even the, so it's almost everywhere. Sadly, it's everywhere. We're gonna have a different way than that, which is by using polyline. Here also, this is slightly painful, but let's have a look of how to do that. And that's it. I'm gonna select this guy, and then change the layer to walls, and then use match property probably to give that to the rest of the group here. Now again, F space, R space, it's 0, so 0 space anyway, M space, we make it multiple, and I'm gonna follow the columns to identify the geometry. So this guy and this guy, this guy and this guy, and we're gonna go like this. Beautiful. So always start with the perimeter, the outside lines. And instead of, you know, wasting times and using trim, one of the worst thing to be done in your life in here. It's going to be really messy, and it's going to take a serious amount of time that you shouldn't lose on those steps. Fillet radius 0 and then multiple will be a much faster solution. I know there is a curved here, but I'm going to ignore them for now. So let's assume that they are corners, and then we're going to fix that. Beautiful, that's done. Now we need to curve those. Be aware of where is the curve, the 3000 outside, and same is here. Beautiful. So F space, radius 3000, and probably M space. So this guy and this guy, then this guy and this guy. And again, if you want to make another fillet here, so it should be 3000 minus the 300, the thickness of the wall. It's F space, R space 2700, and then click that guy and then click that guy. Or you just go ahead and make it easier for you and offset to 300 this guy to the inside, and then use trim. Depend on which one you are more confident to use. That's been done. Now if I turn off the layer for columns, it will be like that. This is for lots of architectural companies, it's really accepted. Some of them consider this incorrect, and they ask you, just for you to know, to draw the columns, you know, the painful way, which is like this. Actually, you can't start by offsetting, so you have to draw from the edges of the wall. So if you allow me to redo this part, they're gonna do it like this. See? Exactly like that. And yes, they will ask you to draw a line here and then another line here, you see, and same is here, same is here, and of course that guy will be up like this. So when you turn off the columns, you end up by having the actual wall, you know, it shouldn't go under that. And some of them use this for structural calculations. Some of them are just like, you know, they like it the way they want it like that, you know, just can't argue with it. And it depends on what company you work for or what the client wants from you. Anyway, in this, if this is happen, you're gonna see that kind of ugly, because the column, half of it shown as blue and the rest of it shown this green. So that's because here there is two lines, the cyan line, which is the bluish line, or the green line. So I have to tell AutoCAD which is which, so which one you want to be on the top. So DR, draw order, select that guy, select this column and hit the space, and then choose front, which is forcing AutoCAD to show that guy above the green line, which is probably a better thing than having this one. Anyway, so I'm gonna have a couple of undos. I don't want that for now. I already did. So there's two ways here to solve this issue, as long as we are working with the column thing. And by the way, again, that's the columns. If they are on the same, if they are actually in the same thickness, you know, that's how we draw. If we have them in a bigger case, if the column were actually like, you know, like that, that's another issue. So you have to start up the walls. You must, in this case, start up the walls from the outer edge. So if that was, you know, a bigger column for us, again, in this case, you must start by drawing must here from outside here and here, going to the other column, and then offset it, let's say the 300. So it's gonna be like that. So be careful of what type of document. I explained that extensively in the previous lecture, especially when we was talking about the type of architectural plans that you have to draw. But I'm just refreshing your memory and remind you of that. So that's it. So far so good. And you can select, or you can turn off all the walls. Yes, I'm gonna turn off a current layer, which is a serious mistake, but anyway, DR space and select all the grid space, and then front space, and then sorry, and then turn on the walls. So the column should be, you know, on the top, which is for some crazy reason it wasn't working anyway. Maybe we need to RE to regenerate. Good. So that's it. Those are the external walls. Now we have internal walls, which is basically 200 mil flush with the exterior walls. Good. So I will basically create a layer, and in this layer I'm gonna call it partitions, and in it probably I'll make it gray. I don't know. Is it gonna be ugly? I don't know. Maybe this guy. And maybe less thickness, maybe 0.25 the default, and closing that guy, and I'll draw it from here to here exactly, flushing with that face, and then offsetting it at 200 mil like that, and then, you know, it's aligned to that face. Okay, so it should be here, and then offset 200 mil inside. And I do believe in this case we need to have a couple of trims here, like this and like that. Careful not to cut the columns. That's what you should do. That's what you have here. Beautiful. Then we have some crazy wall here, which is face to face 4000, offset 4500 from this guy to this guy, and then offset it at 200 mil. Then with an easy extend we can fix this. Match property. Oops. They have nothing to do with the center line, so don't freak out. And probably need to trim those as they are all belong to the same architectural element, and they having the same material. Again, some of the offices will ask you to close the gap, guys, so be careful. So you have to draw this line here, this line again here, and this line here, and this line here. Some of the offices ask, some of them just ignore. I highly recommended you to draw it, so when you send it to 3D Studio Max or send it to other application for like Photoshop, it would be easier for you to color anyway. That been said, now we have to do the architectural opening, and they are 200 mil and then 1000. So let's start up with the doors, and it's offset at 200 from that guy here, and then offset at 1000. Probably it's the time to lock the grid so it won't annoy us. So when you trim like that, you do it like a boss here. No one can actually, you know, find a mistake, or by mistake you trim the axis. Not anymore. Same here. Now try for another walls. We have another 2 here, so copy that guy, rotate it, move it to the edge, and I'll just move previous at 200 mil, and then copy it downward to reach that level, and then we gotta just trim that to get our doors open like this. Anything on the external? No, except this 2600 by 2600. So let's do it. It's an offset of 2600 on both sides, and just extend. So that's it. Those are the walls, and we can go ahead and draw those walls. So I will do so, and as we agreed, even if we have it drawn here, you should draw it the correct way. So I'm gonna go layer, new, and then doors, current that, and probably make it less than that, maybe 18. And I'm gonna offset that 50 mil, rectangle, remove the construction line, copy that guy, and it's 1000 and we lost 250s of it, so this is a 900 mil with an offset of 50 down, and then an extra 2 lines with a circle. Now block, now I don't know why I select that twice, but it's obviously a mistake. Pick point, let's go from here. Now copy that, probably we need to mirror it, so now here get rid of the extra line and copy that. Now I'll draw a line here from here to here, and then draw another line, half of it. Now I don't know how much is this line. I mean the door itself, so I'm gonna rotate that, have that a 50, and then, you know, a line here and a line here, and then a circle. Oops, trim, select that guy and that guy. Okay. Then mirror, don't forget that guy from the end or the mid like that, and then remove that guy, and you have your door. So how much it was, by the way. It's 2000, isn't it? Yep. So block, it's a double door, double 2000, and then plan. And the other one I just forget to name it properly, so I'm gonna get back to it. Beautiful. So pick point, and that's it. Now pick point, sorry, and finish. So this guy, if you noticed, I named it incorrectly without the name single, so I'll say just cancel, so I use rename. Blocks, that's my door. I'm gonna copy it, paste it, and here I'm gonna write single to fix this mistake that I've done, and say okay. Now it's better. Beautiful. Now same thing to do. I have to open the windows, so they are 1000 basically here. So I'm gonna offset 1000 here, another 1000 here, extend those. Then we have to trim, and they are just 1000 base, so I've got to move that 2000, and then I think 4000. Am I right? Yes. Beautiful. Get rid of this, get rid of that. So this is the windows. Any repetition in that? No, thanks God. Good. So again, we need a layer, new, and then windows. Yep, current, continuous. Okay. Same thing, offset 50, rectangle, same story, guys. Now some crazy number again, 2025, and then 2000. Okay, so offset 2002. Oops, sorry. Offset 2025 here, and then offset 2000, and you gotta get those lines here. Remove those guys. Match property, they need to be wall layers. And I'm gonna take that because I'm too lazy to draw it again. So I select that again, explode it again, too lazy, stretch, and we have this guy. Now again, block, it's a window, it's a 2000 and a plan. Select that guy. And base here, and finish. Do we have it somewhere else? I wish not. No. So it's a 1475. Anyone knows exactly it's 2000? No one said, so okay. That means it is 2000 because it doesn't mention it anyway. So we have to go offset 1457. I don't know why that number, and then offset 2000 as long as it is not mentioned. So we go with a more reasonable size of the window. Again, wishing that this is the last one. Yeah, this is a sad room. This is a sad room. There's no windows in it. That's incorrect. But anyway, so that's it. Lovely. We finish, you know, the windows we finish, we can now you know, go ahead and have this dash line, or actually let us build the site itself. So it's basically, let's have a look how we draw that. Crazy detailed. It's here, for example, there is a walkway of a 1500 and then 3650. So there is an offset of 1500 like this, and then 3650, and then another offset for a 200 that size. Good. So those guys, probably we need a layer. We're gonna call it fence, and continuous, let's say, I don't know, green, and maybe keep it 18. So those should be in the fence layer, and that's here. Now down, how it goes, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, that's straightforward. It's 4550, then 200. Again, another crazy number. It's offset 4550, and then offset at 200, and then you have to select those and put them in the fence layer. Probably fillet 0, radius 0, sorry. So we close those guys as such. Beautiful. Now to that side, beautiful. It's just 4000, 445. Okay, so offset, but from which point? Yeah, here it's an offset 4450. So it is like that. That's serious. I'm gonna close that line to that line. So that's the exterior of the land, imaginary one actually, because it's dashed. Now, wow, that's annoying. Again, we should go 150, no, 250. Beautiful. Here, offset 250, like here. So I noticed that we need to go more, and in this case we have to activate the axis or the grid, unlock it, and probably a little bit of a stretch in here like that. Better. So again, it's 2500, 4750, again 4750, of course a 200. I think I need another stretch in here. Now fillet this guy with this guy, and then this guy with this guy. Now I will close the outside. Okay, now it's a 1500, and then you close the line. Okay, easy. Again, it's a 1500, and then you close the line like this. Offset at 200, remove those guys, and then fillet. I'll keep that actually. Or fillet this guy with this guy, and again I'll close that with that, and this one with this one. So that's my land, that's my fence, that's my land. Now I'll keep this imaginary two lines. This one is a mess now, so it's really was not a good idea to put the green and the wall in the same layer, so I have this ugly magenta in it. Now we know which is which, because, you know, keep offsetting from that one. So in this case we need a new layer. I'll call it dashed, and I will change this into something else. Let's say dark green maybe. Load that, as this one, load it, and very tiny, maybe it's a 0.5 or something like that. Close that. So I'll select those things and put them in the dashed layer. Nice and easy. Now we have that correct. I'm gonna have a line here and then a line here for this. Beautiful. So now we have this guy and we have this guy again. You can change the line type scale for it if you like it, but it's okay with me. Now those guys, beautiful. So you're just gonna, you know, connect this and this. I know it's the wrong layer, it's okay, forgive me with this. And it's a 300 offset, so 3 1 2 1 2, same thing. And then fillet those guys, multiple fillet. A new layer. Current it. And then select all those. And place it in the landscape layer. You can name it stairs or whatever you think is good. And now we discover that it's having the wrong line type scale because we copied from the dashed one anyway. Fixing this, match property to that guy. Anyway, now the other walkway is just a 1500 all the way up, and it's from here to the interface 15100. So offset 15100, so 15 meter, and that's my lines. I'm gonna extend this in here, and so now we have that's done. You can go ahead and let's do this one actually. It's a 6745, 6745, and again it's a 1500 from that size. I'm gonna trim this, and here probably match property will be the best here, and then I'll just select this guy and then this guy and then remove that. Probably we need a line here in the landscape. So that's been done. Now what else? That's all I think. Yeah, here, good. Now I will do one text, so T space before, let me do the layer, new, and then text. I'll keep it maybe white. So okay, close that, make it current, close it. I'll choose T space and then write anything here, maybe draw the rectangle here, and I'll call it room 1. And I'll finish that, and again if you don't see it, just select into place, zoom in to the rectangle, open it, and then change that to 250. So this is the text. As you can see, you can change the size. I'll leave the rest, guys, for you to finish. I'm not gonna do it all. And then what else? You need a text here also, as you can see here, and of course you need the dimension. So you might go ahead and draw your own dimension, and it's very easy. It's just activate the dimension layer or create a new layer for dimension interior, and also make them yellow or anything close to that. and give it the same thickness of that, maybe 0.09, and finish this current. And again go a DLI and add some DCO here. As you can see, you can go ahead again here and then DCO maybe to that edge, and that's it. That's basic. That's a hatch. That's my dimension, sorry, and that's my text. Again, a layer, and you can go ahead and have a hatch. I'm just doing one of each, guys, so I'm not gonna do all actually all that. Again, the hatch should go as very tiny layer, and see what type of hatch we have. This 45 lines, so I'm gonna turn off that, you know, and I'm gonna turn off this, then go edge space and then point base. That's my thing here, so I can't see it. It's okay. That's mean maybe need to be bigger a little bit, maybe 50. You see now, not shown, so again back to it. We're almost there, so finishing the hatch, and that's about it, guys. That's how we done most of the elements in it, and I'm just gonna pause and then finish those extra stuff that we have, or actually I'm gonna just open the final, and instead of pausing and you know, open it again, I'm gonna just open quiz 3 and show you the final result, which is basically the same thing that you have on the paper that I gave to you. Probably need a layer here also for the section lines and a layer for the levels. So that's it, guys. The rest will be just a repetition. I just don't want to waste time. Probably in the beginning I should have add A, B, C, D, you know, those bubbles. It will be easier for you in a much more complicated document. But again, that's the final result, guys. It's already been you knew now most of the command, or all the command actually, in order to reach that level. Anyway, thank you for your watching, and thank you for your time. I wish that you find that useful. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye bye.